Good evening, good evening. Come on in, come on in. Your girl Miss Creative for another What You Want to Know Wednesday. Good evening, good evening. Come on in, come on in. Your girl Miss Creative for another What You Want to Know Wednesday. Good evening, good evening. Come on in, come on in. Your girl Miss Creative for another What You Want to Know Wednesday. Good evening, good evening. Come on in, come on in. Give people a few seconds to join. So tonight what we're talking about for another What You Want to Know Wednesday. Tonight we're talking about e-commerce. I got some feedback here, so mute that. All right. So what we're talking about tonight is e-commerce and how to sell products online. I have a lot of friends who are crafters who've developed products on their, whether it's jewelry or t-shirts or making designs or whatever it is. And I've seen a lot of people, selling their products just on through Instagram, post a picture and having people DM them. And I just wanted to talk about the ability, how easy it is to set up an online shop so that you can take orders and be able to sell your products online. And some of the things that you have to know in order to do that, some things you should think about, and some choices that you have in order to do that effectively. You can definitely can. There's lots of different approaches to being able to sell your products online, and broadcast them online and sharing them through social media, having people DM you and making direct connections. That's a great way to build relationships and a great way to start off. But you can also set up a website that will safely and securely take orders online for you to be able to sell your products. And there's two different to it. There's pre-built out-of-the-box platforms that are really good for that just does everything for you. You basically log onto the product, sign up for their service, pay a monthly fee, upload your products. They handle all of the secure certificate, which makes it safe to purchase online. They do the payment processing. Some of them even do the shipping for you. You can and really easy to do it yourself. The other option is creating a website of your own. So if you have an existing website, and I'd speak primarily through WordPress because that is the platform that I use most often. There is a commerce plugins that you can build into your website that will allow you to customize the setup of your products. Have a website, e-commerce site that's built into your existing site, so they're not going off to a separate website to get to your e-commerce. It's all in one. Also, you pay one fee for having that set up if you're hiring a developer to do it, versus a monthly recurring fee on top of the service fees that you pay for credit card processing. So two different approaches. There's benefits to both. There are benefits to both, and it's all about where you are in your business, what you want to do, and my best advice to you is to count the cost before you set it up. So those are two different approaches to setting up an e-commerce site. It really is about what you want to do, how much you want to spend, how much time you have on decision, to go with. So I want to talk a little bit now about some things that you should think about and should have thought through when you're building out an e-commerce site. Number one is excellent, good, enticing photos of your products. So taking them on a white background is always helpful. It's not distracting. Having multiple photos of the same products in different angles, so that people can get a good sense of what the product looks like. Good product descriptions, telling what it is. If it's sizes, if it comes in different sizes, knowing what the attributes of it is. So to think of the attributes of what is it about this product. So if you're selling, for instance, if you're selling t-shirts, you have this one particular style of t-shirt that's one product, but it's variations of that product that makes it an attribute. So it comes in different sizes, because different sizes can be different prices. It can colors. So those are things that you want to think through and creating your inventory. So that's the biggest thing is log and make sure you have photographs of your products are enticing, clear to see. Make sure that you have titles and descriptions of your product, accurate pricing based on the ads of different products, as well as a description. So the other thing that you want to think about is your shipping and how you're going to deliver the products to your customers. You can do the shipping. You can work with a online company that does the shipping for you. Like I said, if you're on another platform, a lot of them will do the shipping for you. You just pay a part of the proceeds, a part of the money that you receive goes to the shipping. You can also do the shipping yourself. And think about that when you're whether or not you want to. That's something you want to think about, whether or not you want to include it in your pricing or have a separate shipping cost associated with products when you're selling them yourself. So those are some of the things that you want to think about when setting up an e-commerce site. Thirdly, you also want about, and this is one of the things that tips I like to give to people who manage inventory. So if you're selling products both online and offline, especially if this is one of the benefits of creating your own system. You can sync those systems, have integration between your point of sales, which is how you sell things offline, and your online solution, so that they talk to each other. So if you have inventory, if you're keeping track, you should inventory your products. So if you have 10 t-shirts, you go and do a pop-up and sell 3 of those t-shirts. The website should reflect the number of t-shirts you currently have. These are just things, when you start thinking about inventory and products and how they work online, how they should work. My solution that I work with clients is I of course I do custom built sites that plug into their existing websites, and most recently I've been using that with their point of sale to be able to do their inventory. And the great thing about that is if you have a brick and mortar or you have a store, you're able to, if it's in your shop or you go to an event and you sell, a number of your products, the items sync so that the number of items that you sold are reflected on the website. If you're sold out of an item, nobody, no longer shows up on the website. So those are some key things to think about. A third option that I didn't mention, and it's also good even if you have your own e-commerce shop, are platforms like Etsy, or platforms that have multi vendors in them. It's good to have maybe a few of your premium products, even if you don't have all of your products in an app like that. It's good to have it because they have their own search engine. They have optimization for being able to search and rank higher for Google search. So if you're on that platform, it's going to pop up. Just like if someone looks for you as a person, the first thing that usually pops up is either your LinkedIn or your Facebook account. It's the same with those platforms. So it's good to have products there just to keep recognition or get recognition for who you are online. So that's a quick SEO tip for delivering your products online. I'm going to check now to see if anybody's online and saying anything. Have to switch between screens. So I see I have Palace. Hey, Palace and Patrice. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Tonight we're talking about e-commerce and selling your products online. Some things I've gone over there are platforms available to be able to do that, and some of the things that you should think about when you're selling your product online or getting ready to sell your products in preparation. Let's see. Anything else we got going on? Any questions? If you're watching the replay, I go back and I read the comments. So I want to say thank you for watching. If you if you're watching the replay, leave a comment, leave a question. Let me know if this is helpful. Tag it with the hashtag repost or replay so that I know that you're watching the replay. If you have ideas and suggestions or questions that you want to talk about it, that you want to know on Wednesday, leave that as well. I'd love to hear from you. Know if this is helpful or not. So one newer thing that I've started doing with a lot of my clients as well is with the addition of the Facebook and the IG shops. So now you can integrate, you can sell products you can sell your products online through Facebook and Instagram, which is great to have an online marketplace. If you have an e-commerce store, selling your products on your own website, you should also integrate it into your Facebook and Instagram. That way people who are, you turn your followers, the people who are following you, into customers. So not just sending you DM messages and asking you about a product, they can purchase it right then. If you post an item, it's tagged, it's already in your tag, and they can purchase the item right there through your Facebook or Instagram. Nice little feature. I really like it. So we have a question from Palace. Top things to be aware of when working with e-commerce. So the top thing to be aware of is make sure that the site is secure. You're going to look for most sites either have some type of notification that it's secure, like a padlock or say that it's secure, but trust but verify. Look at the URL in the location bar. The first where you see HTTP, it should be HTTPS, and that lets you know that the site is secure. And a little padlock next to it to let you know that it's encrypted and secure when transactions are taken online, when you're shopping online. And if you're having your site built, like I said, if you're using a platform that's already existing, they take care of it for you. But if you're having a site custom, e-commerce site custom built for you, you definitely want to make sure that the secure certificate, is called an SSO, is included in that. Common mistakes. Beware. What are common mistakes that are made? Usually common mistakes are made that the biggest common mistake is that people don't think through the shipping product process. The one that I've seen is like, how are they handling delivering the product? What is the shipping cost? How much does it cost to ship my product? Should include the pricing of the shipping in the price of the product, or charge a flat rate shipping for all products on your site. Those are things that you want to think about, and you can adjust always. You can always adjust as you find out what works and what doesn't. But that's definitely something you want to think about, you know, when you're linking your products online. Another big common mistake is having products that images of products that people either can't read, can't see, it doesn't display the product well. Make sure the pictures are sexy. Like I said, using a white background for your product, especially if they're color, it's not distracting. People can see it clearly. Having models and people in your products looks really nice, but always have a picture of product by itself, stand alone, because things look better on people than they do by themselves. So and definitely post. You want share your products, let people know that your shop is available. See, one of the biggest mistakes I've seen made is that, building a shop and then nobody knows about it. If they say if you build it, it will come, but not necessarily. If you build it and tell people about it, they'll come. So definitely, market, not only market your products, but that people can shop from you online. That's a good question. Thank you, Palace. Any more questions or comments online? Well, if not, I'm going to reiterate some of the points that I talked about for Ecommerce. These are just, tips along the way, and some talking points to talk to developer about, or to think about if you're thinking about selling your products online. Decide how much you want to do, whether or not you want to use a pre-built system. Count the cost between the two. If you're looking at developing your own solution within your own website, count the cost. Look at how much it's going to cost for a developer to build a custom e-commerce site versus how much you'll pay over years' time for a pre-existing platform. Sometimes it'll balance out where it's about the same, but over time, having your own pre-built solution may cost you less on one. So take a look at, how much it'll cost to have that person maintain it, whether or not you can get trained to upload your own products, whether or not the system is going to sync with your point of sale system, your system for selling offline. Think about that's a good point that I didn't write this down as a talking point. So your point of sale is for how you're selling products offline. One of the e-commerce tools, one of the point of sale products that I recommend, and it's mostly free to my client, is Square. Again, I'm not an official Square. I don't resell their products. I just make recommendations, and it's because Square does allow the sync between your offline, your POS inventory, your point of sales inventory. So when you're selling in a shop, or if you're selling at a pop up or out of your car, or wherever you're selling your products from, you're taking a credit card or payment offline, your inventory is synced back to your website. The web developer should be able to do that. Also, it does a really good job of keeping track. The way that it details your inventory is really nice, and there's a lot of nice little built-in features with Square. I actually use it. I don't use it for my point of sales for my business so much as I use it for booking. There's gift certificate options. There's customer loyalty programs, lots of things, and it even has a light mailing tool to be able to stay in contact with your customers via email. I really like that feature. I think it's a pretty good platform. It's really easy to use, and it plays nice with with the e-commerce software that I use for building websites. So, no, knowing what your point of sales, your merchant account, which is the price makes the money, knowing what that is, how much. Most of them are pretty comparable in how much they charge you to process a payment, but compare those things to know what the best point of sales, the best merchant vendor you should use. So we have another question from Palace. You spoke about pictures. If I see an advertisement online for something, is it okay for me to use a picture of a model of that happens to be a model of something that I'm interested in selling? Is it okay to use the picture that I saw? That's a really good question. It is not just okay to take pictures from other people's shops and other people's products. Most images should be copywritten and belong to the person who created them. I know we do a lot of that, stealing memes and repost things, and that's fine when you're not selling things. But if you're selling products, if you're selling a product, you should have a picture of product that either you took yourself, or if you're a reseller, have permission to use. Stock photos, you can use stock photos for decoration. Not necessarily for products. You want a picture of the product that you're actually selling. What the people wanted. People think about how you shop, right? You want to see a picture as closely matching what it is that you're going to get, because you want the bait and switch. You want it to be a clear picture of a photograph that's taken the specific of your product. So that's a really good question. So I can tell you something else about it. The custom solution, like one of the custom solutions that I use to build. I've built websites for people who are authors, who've written books and have those books sold through Amazon. One great thing about having your own online solution, having a custom solution, is that you can also link to have those things bought through your e-commerce site, through your Amazon site. You can, but have it listed in your store, just like one of your regular products. If you're, if you prefer the Amazon handle shipping and the payment processing and all of that, you can still have your store with a link to purchase those products through the external system, which is nice. So you can populate your store and don't have to worry about the processing or the shipping of those things. Again, as always, think about counting up how much it costs you in the long run. Uh, I believe that, you know, having something that I've been pay a lot for it from once, and I don't have to pay a lot monthly for it, because those monthly charges add up. So count the costs, do the analysis. Uh, that's my biggest piece of advice, is to really do the cost. Like if you're paying $100 a month for an online store, how much is that going to cost you? Plus the amount that it's going to cost you to process the payments, and if they charge for shipping at the end of the year, will it be about the same, less, or more than it would cost to have a delivery? These are great questions. Anyone else? Any other questions? This Palace is on a roll. I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate you logging and checking out the videos. I really hope that they're informative, that are helpful, and I appreciate you coming on every week. Give people time just in case they're typing. Hi, Miss Donna. I'm sorry I missed your questions. Hey, Crystal. Thanks for joining. So we're talking tonight about e-commerce and selling your products online. Some of the points that I've already discussed are, knowing the decision about what kind of platform to use when deciding to build online. We talked about the integration between your online platform and using the social media, like Facebook and Instagram Marketplace, to be able to resell your products in addition to selling them on your online store. Also, we talked about images, how your images should look, whether or not you can reuse images that have already stealing images from other people, or borrowing or reposting images for your products. That's a big no-no. We talked about making sure your site is secure. Also, being sure that you have thought through your shipping process, how you want to handle shipping, whether you want to do the shipping yourself or have another company handle that for you. We talked about your point of sales, what merchant vendor you're going to use to process your payments, and I recommend using the same online and offline system. So Square being the one that I recommend, because it allows you to use your phone to accept payments. If you have a brick and mortar, you can use it as your point of sale system, and it also integrates with your online store to manage your inventory. Oh, sizing images is what I have a problem with. Question from Crystal. So sizing images in a custom system, you can kind of decide what the size of your images should be. By I would say a rule of thumb is to use 800 by 100. If most images within a store is a square image, right? 800 pixels by 800 pixels is a nice enough file size that it's not grainy. It's not the best resolution, but it's not grainy, and it gives you that perfect square. And it can be sized down without losing a lot of the integrity of the size. So pixels is how images are measured. It's the dot. So images are made up of a bunch of dots, and those dots are called pixels. So the number of pixels length by width is the 800 length by 800 width. So a lot of times you'll see images where you'll see 900x 1280. That's the size of the image by width. If the number on sides of the x is the same number, that is a square. Anything else is a rectangle, either a long rectangle or a horizontal rectangle. How can you copyright? How can one copyright their own images? That's a good question, and it's a question that we should talk about on another What You Want to Know Wednesday. So I'll take that away as a topic. We'll talk about copywriting, not just for images, but for your website, getting what we can talk about brand and getting logos, your logo trademarked and a lot of other things. But that's a really good question, copywriting your images and whether or not you can do that. Awesome. See, I already got a topic for another What You Want to Know Wednesday. Anything else you guys want to know? Patrice says, thank you. You're welcome, Patrice. Thank you for joining. Well, thank you, Miss Donna. Miss Donna says, this is good stuff. It's really great to see you online. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. So if you are in the process, if you have that you're thinking about selling, or you thinking about selling your products online, you want to talk it through, there you can book a consultation with me. If you're on Facebook, on the creative page, there's a book now button. If not, you're just if you're coming through the stream, you can go to my website, gettkre-ative.com, getcreative.com. Send me a message. There's actually two pop-up chat windows, one for Facebook, one that goes into my email system. Just hit me up. I'll be glad to schedule some time to talk to you. First consultation is always free. So yes, Miss Donna, I didn't answer the question about copywriting. I said that I was going to save that for another What You Want to Know Wednesday. That's a great topic. It delves into a lot of different things in our processes. So I would like to be able to talk about copywriting as a whole, not just with images. You shouldn't have to worry about copywriting your images for your website. What I would recommend, however, until you can get it copyrighted, I would recommend, if you can, just putting a small version of your logo, a transparent version of your logo on your images to kind of tag them, let people know that they're yours, and we can do for it. And I recommend that not just for your shop, but also for social media, so that if people are taking your images, they're watermarked with your logo. And we talked about transparent logos in the creating images for social media. We talked about transparent images on that call. That's all good. It's evening time. We can get distracted, multitasking and carrying on. So I was asked to spell out again my website address. It is www, or without the www, getkre-ative.com. And I'll drop it in the chat so you'll have it. So if you're watching from my personal page, the link will show up on the screen. People have, you guys are great tonight. Truly appreciate you coming on and asking questions and being engaged. And I'll also share my link tree, which is just a list of all the links that, you know, everything that's currently going on with me, a link to what you want in a Wednesday, schedule a meeting with me, a link to the website, my media, sort of like my digital calling, my digital card. It's good to see you too, Miss Donna. I miss you. I miss jumping around on one foot, hopping around on one foot for 16 bars. All right, folks. Well, if you like this, if this is good information, hit like, share it with folks that you know might need this information. Leave your comments, replay. I appreciate you guys for on and sharing with me. It's good to see you. All right. Well, if there's no other, I'll give you a couple more seconds while I say good night. I've left my website as well as the link to my link tree. Like I said, don't hesitate to hit me up. No, reach out to me with any questions you have. I love to help people and answer questions. So, and I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you jumping on because it helps me as well. All right. See you soon. All right. Don't just create a website, create a web presence. And you can do that by getting creative. Thanks everybody. Have a good night.